guys, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to be back. I had taken a week off, but I am excited to be back again for another full body stretch for you guys. Just like all of my other videos, these stretches are dedicated to just providing us believers a way of stretching that not only honors our body, but it honors the Lord as well. I don't incorporate any yoga poses, so these are all non-yoga related stretches. And if you are wondering why I don't associate myself with any kind of yoga poses, you can head over to my Instagram. I have an entire highlight series specifically talking about my viewpoints on yoga and whether Christians should participate in it or not. Clearly I don't. So there's my opinion. Anyway, so this week we are just going to be focusing on 10 to 15 minutes of a full body stretch. We're gonna start from the top of our body, working our way down, and I'm hoping that it helps you alleviate any kind of tension or discomfort that you guys are experiencing. So today we're just gonna be needing a blanket or a pillow, something that you can stack underneath your hips. That way it elevates your hips higher than your knees, and a stretching mat, or you can be stretching on your rug or anything that is comfortable for you. You may need something to hold on to for balance, so if you're in your living room, you can just hold onto your couch or a chair, anything that you can use to support yourself. So with that being said, I am gonna grab myself a cup of water and I will meet you over there. Okay, so we are just going to begin by getting in a comfortable seated position. If you're sitting here and your back is rounded and your hips are really tight, causing your knees to come up towards your chest, that's when you can take this blanket or pillow. If you're using a blanket, you can just roll it, make it pretty thick, stack it underneath your hips. That way it elevates your hips higher than your knees. You can sit here comfortably with your spine upright and neutral, and your hips are relaxed, allowing your knees to drop lower than your hips. So again, we're just going to be sitting here in a comfortable seated position. We're going to begin by lowering our right ear to our right shoulder, stretching out the left side of our neck, making sure that this left shoulder isn't up by our ears, but it's gently back and down into place. And just pausing here for a couple seconds. If it feels comfortable for you, you can begin by adding some small, subtle movements, just opening up any tension that we might be holding on to throughout the week. And coming up through center, releasing our left ear now to our left shoulder, stretching out this right side of our neck. Again, checking in with this right shoulder, making sure it didn't creep up by our ear, but it's back and down into place. Again, just pausing here where it feels good for you, adding in those small, subtle movements. And coming back up to center, we're now going to turn our gaze over towards our right shoulder as we lower our chin down towards our right collarbone. And if we want to take this stretch a little bit further, if it feels comfortable for you, you can take this right hand, gently place it on the back side of our head as we draw our elbow down towards the ground, maintaining that tall, upright spine. Not really adding any weight towards our head, we're just allowing the weight of our arm to draw our chin closer towards our chest. Again, checking in with this left shoulder, making sure that it's back and down into place. Couple more seconds here. And gently removing that right hand and coming back up to center. Now we're going to bring our gaze over towards the left shoulder, now lowering our chin now towards our left collarbone. And one last time, again, checking in with the shoulder, making sure it's down into place. And if you want to take this stretch a little bit deeper, taking this left hand, placing it on the back side of our head, again, as you maintain this tall, neutral spine, drawing that elbow towards the ground. Just pausing where it feels good for you. A couple more seconds here. And slowly removing that left hand as you come up to center. We're going to begin by pulling your knees towards your chest. As you lift your chest, lift your gaze, drawing your shoulder blades in towards each other. And now leaning your weight back as you grab hold of your knees for support, drawing those shoulder blades now away from each other and tucking your chin to your chest. And coming back up to center. We're now going to take our right hand, placing it on our left knee, our left hand back behind you for support as you gently twist open to the left. And switching sides, right hand now behind you for support, left hand, right knee, twisting gently open to the right. And coming back to center. We're now going to bring our right arm up and over towards our left side, making sure that our right hip is pressed into the mat. Our left hand is down on the mat for support. Really feeling the stretch all along your right side body and pausing where it feels comfortable for you. If it's uncomfortable for your neck to keep your gaze straight, you can lower your gaze towards that left hand. Pausing here just for a couple seconds. And now we're going to extend this left hand out in front of this left knee as we place this right hand directly on top of your left hand and tucking our chin towards our chest. If it feels comfortable for you, you can walk those hands out a little bit further. Again, just making sure this right hip is pressed down to the mat. You should feel the stretch all along the right side body. It should feel really, really good, especially if you hold on to any tension in your mid to lower back. And now walking those fingertips out to the center and pausing here. If it's comfortable for you, you can just relax your chin towards the ground. But if you would like something to prop your head onto, you can stack your hands on top of each other and just gently lower your forehead to your hands. And coming back up, walking your hands now over to the right side, checking in with this left hip now, making sure that it's planted to the ground. And pausing here again, bringing this left hand, stacking it now on top of the right, and tucking that chin to your chest. We now should feel the stretch all along the left side of our body. And again, if you want to take this stretch a little bit further, you can walk those hands out a little bit more and stacking that left hand, top of the right, tucking your chin to chest. And now removing this left hand, taking this right hand now, placing it to the right for support. As you press down on the mat, bringing this left arm up and over. Again, checking in with this left hip, making sure it's down. And pausing here as we feel this nice gentle stretch all along the left side. And again, if it's uncomfortable for your gaze, you can look down. And slowly coming up to center. We're going to begin by turning to the side of our mat. Again, making sure this blanket is under you if that feels comfortable for you. Taking our hands, interlacing them one more time, pressing them away from your body as you round out your back, lowering your chin to chest, pressing those shoulder blades away from each other. And maybe this time adding some small, gentle movements side to side if that feels good for you. Just opening up any of that tension that we all experience. And coming up through center, interlacing our hands behind us one more time as you extend them behind you. As you lift your chest, lift your gaze, drawing those shoulder blades together. And coming back up to center. We're going to begin by removing this blanket from underneath, putting it off to the side because you may need it. And if this is uncomfortable for your knees, you can unfold this a little bit more. Place it underneath your knees. That way it just adds a little bit of support for you. We're gonna come up to our knees, and this is where it'll be helpful if you have something to hold on to for support. If you don't need it, that's fine. But if you're by a couch or a chair, whatever is convenient for you, you can just gently grab hold. So now we are going to grab onto something for support as you extend this right leg back behind you, tucking your toes underneath, tucking your toes underneath your left foot as well, and making sure that we're pressing into this right hip and have proper alignment in these hips. We're gonna feel this stretch all along the right hip flexor. And if this feels comfortable for you, you can stay here. And if you wanna take this stretch a little bit deeper, you can take this right hand, reaching back behind you as you gently tuck your pelvis underneath. Just pausing here for a couple seconds. Really feeling this stretch all along the right hip flexor. And gently lowering this right leg back down. We're not going to bring our right leg completely in towards our left. We're going to actually bring it back behind you a little bit. As you lift this right foot, grab hold of it behind you and checking in with your hips, making sure they're square to the front of you. As you begin to feel this stretch all along the right quad, and just pausing here where it feels good for you. Again, if this is comfortable for you, you can just pause here, but if you want to take the stretch a little bit deeper, you can gently tuck your pelvis underneath as you draw this right foot in towards your bottom. Pausing here for a couple seconds. And gently lowering that right leg down as you shift it and extend it in front of you, making sure there's a small micro bend in that right leg now. Your right foot is flexed towards the sky as you hinge at the hips with a tall, neutral spine, pausing where you feel that stretch all along the back side of our right leg. And whenever it's comfortable for you, you can fold over that right leg, rounding at your back. A couple more seconds here. And slowly bringing that right leg back behind you and coming to a kneeling position. We're now going to switch sides, focus on the left side. Again, grabbing hold of whatever you have for support. And now extending this left leg behind you, tucking those toes, tucking the right toes as well. There's a slight tuck of our pelvis, grabbing hold of something for support if that is good for you, and making sure our back is tall and neutral and we're not arched or rounded, but we're just focusing on a slight tuck and that nice gentle stretch in the left hip flexor. Pausing here if it feels good for you, or again, bring this right hand reaching back behind you. And just a couple more seconds here. And lowering that left knee down to the ground, making sure again it's not directly in line with this right knee, but about 5 inches behind you. We're going to now bend at the left knee, grabbing hold of this left ankle, tucking at the pelvis, making sure our back is tall and neutral. And if you want to take this stretch a little bit deeper, drawing this left foot in towards your bottom, feeling that stretch now all along the left quad, and pausing where it feels good for you. Couple more seconds here. And now bring this left foot out in front of you, extending those toes up towards the sky, making sure our hips are square. Our knee is directly in line with our hips, so we have good stability, good support. We're gonna begin by maintaining that tall neutral spine, hinging at the hips as we fold over this left leg, pausing where you feel that gentle stretch all along the back side of this left leg, and gently folding over, rounding at your back, and tucking our chin towards our chest. Pausing here. Making sure we're maintaining a small micro bend behind this left knee. We're not extending, locking our leg out, but we're just keeping a safe bend behind that knee. And slowly pressing away from the ground as we bring this knee behind you, coming to a kneeling position. So that is it for our 15-minute full body stretch. I hope that that was as beneficial for you as it was for me. I always look forward to these videos every week when I'm kind of putting these videos together. I get so excited. It feels so good for me, and I'm so glad that we can do these stretches without compromising anything or feeling like we're opening ourselves up to anything spiritually as it does with yoga. So I'm just really grateful for you guys. I wanted to say thank you. I got an email this past week saying that I had reached 1,000 subscribers. I never thought that anyone really was gonna care about these stretches, but I knew that I was just being obedient to where God had me. And so I'm just so grateful. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I always just am so encouraged by the feedback you guys give, for sharing when you guys share over on Instagram. Honestly, it just means a lot. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week.